a columnist for The Guardian in the UK. He also has been on TV a couple of shows. A lot of what he does is look at television and kind of take the piss out of it. He's very funny. Ian McEwan Saturday. Murakami, Norwegian word. This is a biography of Henry Wellcome, whose name is given to the Wellcome Institute in London. More Ian Banks, The Business. More Christopher Hitchens here, The Trial of Henry Kissinger. I'm a big fan of Christopher Hitchens, as I think I've already said. This book is very good. Essentially, Christopher Hitchens argues that Henry Kissinger should be put on trial for war crimes. He makes a fairly convincing case. Bit of a classic there, Orpheus in the Underworld. Sorry, actually, I just want to show you how tiny that book is. Absolutely mini. Umberto Eco, Foucault's Pendulum. This is a really good book. It kind of preempts all that kind of Dan Brown, biblical conspiracy theory type books, and lampoons them. But it's actually written way before kind of Dan Brown wrote that American Psycho. The Rest is Noise. This is a book about 20th century music. Really, really good, really fascinating. Have you seen? This is a kind of list of films, of 1,000 films, but it's not kind of like one of those standard kind of 1,000 films you must see type thing. This is much more personal, and I think much more interesting because of it. More Ellis, Rules of Attraction. Larson again. Jasper Ford again, who I've spoken about. If you still haven't read him, what are you waiting for? Go and do it. Okay, now we're on to books that have more to do with my degree, which I actually finished kind of 7 years ago. And it was on the philosophy of science, well, the history and the philosophy of science. So that's what the kind of a lot of the next two shelves, well, this shelf and the next one, are about. So there we go. We've got an introduction to the philosophy of science. A book there called Makers of Science. Henri Poincaré, The Value of Science. This was one of the main texts for my dissertation. My dissertation was on Henri Poincaré. Scientists confront creationism. It's about science versus religion. Scientific Revolutions, Ian Hacking. Not edited by Ian Hacking, that's various kind of essays by famous philosophers of science. Nature's Numbers by Ian Stewart. This is more maths, and it's more kind of popular maths writing. And the same here, but physics is popular science book here. It's about Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman's a bit of a hero, legendary physicist, American physicist. Karl Popper. This is his autobiography. Karl Popper was a very famous, possibly the most famous philosopher of science. Science, Technology and Society. This is more of a kind of sociology of science book with really recommend this as kind of reading to anyone, even people who aren't kind of particularly into the kind of philosophy of science kind of area. This is more of a history of science, so the birth of science, which this author, who happened to be one of my teachers at university, believes the birth of science was during ancient Greek times. Energy, a guidebook, that's slightly different. A theory of evolution, John Maynard Smith. Structure of scientific revolutions, possibly the most famous philosophy of science book ever written. It kind of made the word paradigm popular, if you like, and it was kind of, that word was used in various other spheres as a result of it kind of being used by Thomas Kuhn in this book. Very, very good book. Two Cultures. This is a kind of seminal sociology of science work by Z.B. Snow. He argues that there are two cultures, the scientific culture and the literary culture, and that neither knows very much about the other. The End of Science. That's a good book, very good book. Big questions in science. We need to talk about Kevin. This obviously isn't history of or philosophy of science. We've kind of got some other books mixed in here as well now as we get to the right hand side of this shelf. As you can see, Dan Brown, Angels and Demons. Jeremy Paxman, The English. That's a good book. Colin Bateman, Cycle of Violence. I have not read that, don't know what it's like. Willie Russell. That's the wrong boy. Bill Bryson. I've got to say, I'm not a massive fan of Bill Bryson. But there you go. Harvey's Heart. This is another one by Andrew Gregory, who was one of my teachers at university. Longitude. This is a really fascinating story. It's about essentially the invention of the pocket watch, but this pocket watch was kind of a solution to issues surrounding navigation of the seas. Duncan Bannatyne, anyone can do it. Any of you watched Dragon's Den in the UK? I don't know if any of you get to watch that if you're in the US or other countries, but he's one of the judges. Temperament. This is about music and the musical scale, and how we got to have the musical scale that we have now. Claire Tomalin. This is a biography of Jane Austen.